Hey all, Cypher, and welcome back to our Dislyte video. Now, guys, it's been quite a while, right? Honestly, every single video nowadays, it's been quite a while for me. But yeah, how are you all doing? Hope you all are doing great, in your life, in your careers, in your personal life. I guess I already said it. I don't know, but yeah. Moving forward, because this video is not going to be about me rambling. It's all going to be about whether you should be pulling for Ethan or not. Now, straight up, if you want a TLDR, I think Ethan is probably one of the most pulls, honestly, in the recent times, because he's just he's just solid. Like, before I even start the video, I'm just gonna say I have already pulled Ethan on my account, main account. I also pulled Ashley. Honestly, Ashley was the only good Esper that was awaiting me in my whole Dislyte career. Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing to say, but yeah, I never summoned Ashley, but now finally I have her. Here she is in all her majestic beauty. Here we have Pan. Now Pan is probably one of the best tank supports that you can get, except for healing. He does pretty much everything, right? So he's more of a crowd control support controller, you could say. He's also a great buffer, honestly. He's a solid, and solid because of his magic tune buff. All right, so check this out, check this buff out. 20% critical hit rate, 20% critical damage, reduces anti-crit chance, basically 20% anti-crit, and an additional speed of 20. Like, how bro? Oh, plus guys, immunity as well for the whole team. Like, how overtuned can a single buff get? This is magic tune. This is I mean, this whole spell is like a combination of overtunes, right? It's probably a big, I mean, it's broken, guys. It's straight up broken, honestly. And the fact that it can be booked down, I mean, reduced down to 4 turns after you skill him up. Honestly, I would recommend skilling him up if you have the legendary abilimons to spare. But I mean, 4 turns, you could potentially use him on Ocean Waves as well. You just need to make him super fast. So if you do not have Ocean Waves, of course, speed, taking him on the speed route, speed tanky, right? I think that's the best part, best build, sorry, for him. Because particularly if you guys can read the second part, so this skill does not end right here. After Ascension, this skill also gains another twist. Whenever an enemy receives an AP boost, if Ethan has Magic Tune, gains 50% of the boost effect, triggers once per turn. Guys, this is AP boost. So in case you're fighting cleave teams like Unis, Dahlia, Asenath, like any AP booster, honestly, in the game, he will receive 50% of that as well. So essentially, he will cut in. He'll definitely cut in. If he's built fast, he will definitely cut in, right? But the sad part is, he has to have this magic tune buff at the start. And the sad part is, you cannot get this at the start. Unless, of course, some boom, 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 where's the... I mean, I don't know. I hope I add the drum beats at the editing part. But yeah, here is at R2. Only at R2 at the start of combat, all allies gain magic tune. So he's kind of like not an anti-cleave unit if you ask me before R2, but definitely at R2 this guy can rock. Like, this guy he's already pretty solid. I'm already gonna say that he's pretty solid. He's a must pull for me. I recommend to players always, because of the second part as well, because of his panic gaze debuff. Now, from like, I think for the past 6 months, I've been crying to developers for introducing a anti-hide, or like something to counter hides, Everett's, basically to counter the counter champions, right? Basically, espers that can constantly use the abuse. I'm not gonna say use. It's technically abuse the Sword of Tower set, because their basic attacks deal a shit ton of damage, and they're basically A1 bots at this point, right? Like Everett, Hyde, for example. These are the most famous examples. I would even say Clara. Clara's pretty abusive, right? So yeah, here's Mr. Pan. Mr. Pan is here to take care of your problems, guys. The sad part is his problems actually, I think he is decent, but like the cooldown is pretty long. Like even if you book it down, it's 4 turns. Like, holy shit, with 4 turns, guys. But honestly, it's pretty good. All right, so read this part. So first of all, it's an AOE attack. 40% chance of inflicting defense down. So it hits 3 times. It's kind of like Gabriel's A2. So it hits 3 times. Each hit has like 40% chance of inflicting defense down. Pretty solid, right? Then it's also got this Panic Gaze debuff for 2 turns. Now, what is this Panic Gaze debuff? So essentially, you apply this debuff to the caster, right? And when they use any basic attack, they will take true damage. Now, how much is a true damage? It's 20% for espers, 20% of the max HP, and for bosses it's only like 5%, so it's technically kind of useless for PvE purposes, but for PvP purposes I think this is solid. Solid for like tanks like a Hyde. Generally they're very tanky, they're built very bruiserish, right? So they have a lot of HP. So yeah, I mean it won't kill them, but you know it's an additional way to make them suffer essentially, right? It's not exactly a direct counter, so you will not one-shot them, but it's kind of like stopping the rampage, kind of penalizing them for doing basic attacks. However, if the guy who is debuffed with his panic gaze, if he chooses not to use a basic attack, just use simple ability, or if he dies in the process, panic gaze will be removed from all allies. All allies in the sense like all enemies, right? And their ability cooldowns will be put on additional cooldown, so all of their abilities will be additionally getting +1 more turn cooldown, and this will not miss and cannot be resisted. So it's kind of like cannot be resisted. Wait, is there a debuff which cannot be resisted? Is it an Dora? No, I think that can be resisted, right? But yeah, this debuff, this cannot be resisted, guys. This will not miss and cannot be resisted. Pretty insane, if you ask me. Pretty insane. Same with Magic Tune, by the way. It's undispellable if I'm reading it right. And his A1, probably one of the most important part of his kit. Normally these support tanks, their A1s are pretty crappy, right? They're just like either like inflicting useless debuff like miss chance or something, or probably on the rare side there's stuns. With a very low percentage of inflicting that, but this one is pretty insane. So it's an A1 which has a 60% chance of inflicting 20% negative AP. Alright, so he will like take out 20% AP with his basic attacks, very high chance, 60%, it can go up to 80%. And if the enemy is afflicted with panic gaze, he will also inflict a 1-turn stun. A 1-turn stun, like regardless, it will like it cannot be resisted if the enemy has panic gaze. Now the second part is, if Ethan has Magic Tune, all effects from this attack cannot be resisted, so even the AP down will not be resisted. That gets insane. It's insane. And the damage numbers are not that like bad. Like look at that. Look at his first time of A1. It's 90% of attack, right? So let's see a similar supportive tank. Who's a supportive tank? Probably Abigail. I mean, Abigail's kind of a better damage, honestly. But who's a more supportive tank? Mr. Kanji? Like, his scales of defense, I don't know, I can't compare. I mean, his damage is not that bad, all I'm saying. But of course, you're not going to build him for damage. He's pretty much going to be a tanky bot who's going to spam his A1. I mean, of course, after rotating his skills. Honestly, currently, I've built him this way on Ocean Waves because I feel without R2, I'm not gonna outspeed them. Like enemies, I'm not gonna outspeed them. It's not like exactly an anti-cleave unit. I'm just gonna use Ethan in either my control team, alongside probably stuff like Loki, stuff like Dora, right? Stuff like Mr. Mimir himself, Mr. Oldie, right? Or I'm just gonna use him with my tank team with stuff like my own Hyde, my own Everett, Clara, you know, the basic stuff. So I think Ethan will play a very important part in upcoming RTA events. Even in Point Wars, I think you will see Ethan a lot. So if you ask me, yes, he's a must pull. But I know there's some rumors going around that the anniversary Esper might be most broken coming or something, like Gaius level or something. But you know, I don't believe in the hype as much, so I'll just take everything at face value, and currently this is a pretty good Esper. So if you have 100 wish stones to spare, I would suggest you do it, because I had 100 wish stones to spare and I did it, right? So if you only have 100, then I would say, yeah, you're probably better off waiting till the anniversary, right? But yeah, I think anniversary patch would be next patch, so yeah, you could wait for it. Like the patch notes are posted like 1 week prior, so you could probably get your opinions whether you should pull for Ethan or the next Esper, which is probably the anniversary Esper, right? So, but yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys are having a great day ahead, as I said, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.